She didn't know how to eat with a spoon, or why humans smiled. She flinched at every sound, slept on the floor, and guarded herself with a kitchen knife. She wasn't just alien, she was broken, hunted, and scared of kindness. And yet, something changed the day she met him. He didn't lock her in a cage. He gave her a blanket, a toothbrush, a name. She hissed at forks, growled at jokes, and called hugs attacks. But when strangers mocked her, he stood in front of her. When hunters came to take her back, he lied to protect her. She wasn't looking for a master, she was looking for a home. And when she learned what joy felt like, she smiled for the first time. But just as she found peace, the ship came from orbit. Now she must choose run forever, or stay and risk everything, because this time, the human didn't save her life. He became it. Now, let us go to the place where dust, sacrifice, and destiny first collided, where the story truly begins. The rain was cold and heavy. It fell hard on the metal roof of Jack's old garage. Lightning flashed in the sky as Jack locked the workshop door for the night. He pulled his jacket tighter, ready to walk back to his small house. But something made him stop. A sound, soft, like a cry. He turned his head slowly, eyes searching the shadows near the fence. Then he saw her. She was crouched near the trash bin. A small figure with wild orange hair, long ears, and a big bushy tail. She wore torn clothes that didn't fit her right. Her feet were bare, muddy, and bleeding. Rain poured down on her thin body, but she didn't move. Jack took one step forward. The girl hissed like a cornered animal, her glowing yellow eyes locked onto his. "It's okay," Jack said gently. "I won't hurt you." She blinked, shaking. Then she spoke in a dry whisper, her voice cracked and broken. "Can I stay here? Just for tonight?" Jack looked at her, unsure what she was. Not human, not fully animal. Her ears twitched, and her tail curled close to her legs like she was trying to disappear. He nodded. "Come on, let's get you inside." She hesitated, then followed him like a stray cat, slow and cautious, inside the garage. Jack gave her a dry towel. She sniffed it first, then began rubbing it on her arms without saying a word. "What's your name?" Jack asked. She stayed quiet, then finally muttered, "I don't have one." He sighed and went to the kitchen corner, pulling out a leftover sandwich. He placed it on the table and stepped back. She stared at it like it was poison, then crawled forward and sniffed it. When she was sure it was safe, she grabbed it fast and ate like she hadn't eaten in days. Jack watched her quietly. Her tail wagged slightly as she ate, but her eyes never left him. "You can sleep here tonight," Jack said, pointing to the couch. She looked at the couch, then shook her head. "I sleep on ground." Softer than cages, he didn't argue. He just placed a soft blanket on the floor and gave her a pillow. She curled up like a fox, holding a kitchen knife she had secretly taken. Jack saw it, but didn't take it away. She needed to feel safe. She whispered to herself, "No cage, no chain, no pain tonight." Jack turned off the lights and went to bed. The sound of rain filled the silence. But at 3 a.m., he woke up to a scream. "Master? No. Please." He rushed out of his room, heart pounding. The fox girl was on the floor, shaking, her blanket kicked away. Tears streamed down her face, her knife clutched tight in her small hand. Jack knelt beside her. Hey, it's okay," he said softly. "You're safe here." She stared at him like he was a ghost, then suddenly dropped the knife and hugged him tight. "You didn't sell me," she whispered. "You didn't lock me in a cage." Jack held her gently. "No," he said. "No one will ever hurt you again." She stayed like that for a long time, breathing fast, her ears twitching. Then she looked up at him and asked a question no one had ever asked before. "Are you my owner now?" Jack didn't know what to say. He looked at her, this strange alien girl with fox ears and a scarred past. And he said quietly, "No, I'm not your owner. I'm your friend." She blinked, like she didn't know what that word meant. But for the first time, her body relaxed. She curled up again beside the couch, still holding the corner of his jacket in her small hand, like a scared child afraid to let go. Outside, the storm faded, but inside that garage, something new had begun. Not just shelter, but the start of something neither of them could explain yet. The sun rose behind the foggy windows. Inside the garage, Jack stood still, holding a steaming cup of coffee. The fox girl sat on the cold floor, knees tucked to her chest, staring at the fire in the small heater. She hadn't moved much since last night. Jack had given her clean clothes, a soft sweatshirt and sweatpants, but she hadn't touched them. She was still wearing the same torn shirt. She didn't trust anything yet, not even fabric. "Do you want me to wash those for you?" Jack asked kindly, pointing at her clothes. She flinched, then quickly shook her head. Her ears flattened against her head like she thought he would hit her. Jack sighed. He didn't know what her life had been before this, but it had taught her one thing: fear. He placed the clean clothes on the couch and stepped away. "You can change if you want," he said softly. "No pressure." Minutes passed. Jack walked into the kitchen to give her space. Then suddenly quiet footsteps. He turned and saw her. She was wearing the new clothes. Though backward and inside out, her long orange tail poked out awkwardly through a small hole she had torn herself. "You look comfortable," Jack said with a small smile. She looked confused, comfortable. She repeated slowly. Jack nodded. "It means safe. Warm? Okay." She tilted her head, thinking. Then said, "No pain." So yes, comfort. Jack's heart hurt hearing that. That was her only way to describe feeling good. No pain. He grabbed an old scarf and walked toward her. "Here, let me wrap this. It'll keep your neck warm," as he stepped closer. She backed away like a scared animal. Her breathing quickened. "I won't hurt you," he said. Kneeling down and offering the scarf, she stared at his hands like they were weapons. Then, slowly, she reached out with her clawed fingers and touched the scarf. It was soft, warmer than anything she remembered. She wrapped it around herself like a shield, then looked at Jack and asked, "Why are you giving me soft things?" "Because you deserve them," Jack answered. She stared at him, completely confused. "Deserve?" She whispered. "I don't deserve anything." Jack didn't argue. Instead, he walked over and opened a drawer, pulling out a new toothbrush. He handed it to her. She held it upside down. "What is this tool?" "It's a toothbrush," Jack said gently. "You use it to clean your teeth." She raised an eyebrow. "My teeth are clean. I lick them." Jack chuckled softly. "That's not how humans do it." He guided her to the sink and showed her how to brush. She copied him slowly, awkwardly. Her movements wild like a child who had never seen a mirror before, but she watched him closely, copying every motion. Jack saw how hard she was trying. After brushing, she leaned against the counter and whispered, "Is this how pets live? You feed them, give them bath, give them tools." "You're not a pet," Jack said firmly. She looked confused again. "Then what am I?" Jack stood quiet for a moment, then stepped forward, very slowly. He reached out and placed his hand on her shoulder. She froze, eyes wide, her tail stopped moving. Then Jack did something simple. He gave her a hug, a gentle, careful, warm hug. Her entire body stiffened like she'd been stabbed. "What you doing to me?" She whispered in shock. "It's called a hug," Jack said. "It means you're safe." She didn't move, didn't hug back. But she didn't pull away either. Seconds passed. Then her hands slowly lifted and touched his back. Her claws didn't dig in. They rested there. Trembling, she whispered, "No one has ever touched me like this, without pain." Jack didn't say anything. He just held her a little longer. When he finally pulled back, she looked at him with wet eyes. "I don't understand what I'm feeling," she said softly, "but it feels warm. That's called care," Jack said. "It's something humans give each other when they want someone to feel loved." She looked away, her tail swaying lightly behind her. "Care. I want to learn that," she whispered. "But you will not leave, right?" Jack smiled gently. "No," he said. "I'm not going anywhere." She sat down near his feet, hugging the scarf close to her chest. Her ears twitched with every sound. But her body looked calm for the first time. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds. Inside, something had changed. Not a pet, not a stranger, but a girl who had taken her first step into a strange human world. And the man who had offered her a hand instead of a cage. Jack fixed his collar nervously. He looked at the clock. 6:55 p.m. The guests would arrive in 5 minutes. The table was set, the food was warm, and the lights were soft. He looked toward the hallway. "Hey," he called gently. "You ready?" The fox girl peeked out from behind the wall. She wore a long sweater and black leggings, both human clothes, but she had kept her tail out, letting it swing freely behind her. Her ears twitched nervously. "To many humans," she whispered. "What if they hurt me?" "They won't," Jack said softly. "These are my friends." She looked unsure. Still, she stepped out, walking on the balls of her feet, almost like a dancer. Each movement was quiet. "Careful, ready to run." Jack smiled. "You'll be fine." The doorbell rang. She jumped and let out a soft growl. Hiding behind the couch, Jack walked over and opened the door. 3 people entered: his coworker, Mia, his old boss, Ron, and Ron's assistant, Caleb. All were smiling, carrying bottles and boxes. "Smells amazing in here, Jack," Mia said cheerfully. "You actually cooked." Jack laughed. "Yes, and no one has died yet." But as they walked in, their eyes landed on the girl crouched behind the couch. Ron said slowly, "Who's that?" The fox girl stood up slowly, her hands clenched, her tail bristled, her ears twitching hard. She stared at them without blinking. "This is Erin," Jack said quickly, giving her a soft smile. "She's staying with me for a while." Caleb raised an eyebrow. "She your cousin, or something else?" Jack ignored the tone. "She's learning human things, okay? Be nice." They all sat down, trying to act normal. Jack pulled out a chair for Erin. She sniffed it before sitting, her hands gripping the edge like it might collapse. Food was passed around. And Jack handed Erin a plate with rice and chicken. He also gave her a fork and spoon. Erin held up the fork, stared at it, then growled low. "What is this sharp stick?" she hissed. The room went quiet. "It's a fork," Jack whispered gently. "You use it to eat." Erin looked at the others, then tossed the fork aside. She grabbed a piece of chicken with her hand and began eating fast. Meat juices ran down her wrist. Mia blinked. Ron cleared his throat, and Caleb just smirked. Jack wanted to disappear into the wall. "So," Ron said slowly, "is she okay?" "She's trying," Jack replied firmly. "She's been through a lot." Caleb leaned in with a fake smile. "So, Erin, where are you from?" Erin wiped her mouth with her sleeve, then stared at him. "I was taken from my den by poachers, then sold, then escaped." She said plainly, "You ask too many questions." Mia gave a nervous laugh. "Well, that's honest." Erin looked at the napkin in front of her, then sniffed it. She copied Mia's movement and dabbed her chin, then nodded proudly to herself. "You see?" Jack whispered. "She's learning." But the peace didn't last as the night went on. Caleb whispered something rude to Ron, something about space pets. Erin's ears perked. She stood up slowly, her tail lashing behind her. Jack's heart sank. "Erin, it's okay," he said, trying to calm her. But she stepped toward Caleb, her teeth slightly bared, eyes glowing gold. "Say it again," she said coldly. "Say what you just said." Caleb looked nervous now. "It was a joke," he said, laughing awkwardly. "Just a dumb joke. I am not a pet," she growled. "I am not furniture, not a thing to joke about." Jack stood between them, gently placing his hand on Erin's shoulder. "It's okay. You don't need to prove anything." Erin looked at him, then back at Caleb. Her ears lowered slowly, and she backed off. "I want to go now," she whispered. Too many eyes, too much fake smiling. Jack nodded. He walked her to the hallway, then turned back. "Sorry, guys," he said. "We'll see you another time." Mia nodded kindly. "She's got fire in her, Jack." "Yeah," Jack said. "But she also has scars." Later, as they sat quietly on the garage couch, Erin rested her head on his arm. "I tried to be human," she whispered. "But humans stared too much." Jack looked down at her. "You were perfect," he said. "You didn't change for them. And that's okay." She closed her eyes slowly. "I will learn." "But I don't want to be laughed at." "You won't be," Jack promised. "Not while I'm around." Outside, the night deepened. Inside, trust grew messy. Slow and imperfect, but real. Jack rubbed his eyes and sat up in bed. It was 2 a.m., and something smelled strange. Not bad, just wild, like forest leaves, wet fur, and something sharp beneath it. He stood up, walked to the hallway, and followed the scent. It led him past the kitchen, down toward the supply closet. He opened the door slowly. There she was. Erin, the fox girl, curled up in the closet. She sat in the dark, eyes glowing in the shadows. Beside her were his old boots, his work jacket, and a few of his shirt soles stolen from the laundry basket. She was sitting on them like a nest. Her tail flicked back and forth, and she stared at him like he had walked in on something private. "What are you doing?" Jack asked softly. Erin blinked, then held the jacket tighter. "You were gone too long," she said. "I thought you left, so I made a place." "I was asleep," Jack said with a small laugh. "It's the middle of the night, I know," she whispered, "but I couldn't smell you nearby." Jack tilted his head. "Smell me." She nodded seriously. "You're part of my scent map. It's how I know I'm safe." He sat on the floor across from her. "You made this? To feel safe?" She looked down, ears twitching with guilt. "Yes, I took your things," she admitted. "I needed to." "Mark you. Mark me?" Jack asked, blinking. "In my kind, we leave scent on those we trust," she said. "It tells others you are claimed," Jack chuckled. "So I've been claimed, huh?" Her eyes flicked up to him. "Is that bad?" She asked in a small voice. "Should I stop?" Jack smiled gently. "No, it's not bad, just different." She relaxed a little, resting her head on the jacket again, then added softly, "But if someone else takes your jacket, I will bite them." Jack laughed, louder this time. Erin smiled, just a little. "I'm serious," she said. "You are my only safe place." Jack looked at her. It wasn't a joke to her. It was real. "I'll always come back," he said, "even if I go out or sleep or vanish for a bit. I'll always come back." She nodded slowly, trusting his words more than she trusted time. The next morning, Jack woke to find strange things scattered around the living room. His socks were arranged in a line. His coffee mug was full of stones and acorns. A photo of his parents had been turned upside down and wrapped in a scarf. "Ah, Erin," he called. She poked her head out of the bathroom. "I made a warning path," she said proudly, "so bad spirits stay away." He blinked. "Bad spirits." She walked over with wet hair and damp paws. "Yes, in my world, spirits follow scent, so I confuse them with layers." Jack looked around again, then smiled. It was weird, wild, and wonderful. Later that day, he tried teaching her more earth things like writing. He handed her a pencil and notebook. "Write your name," he said. "Or try." She held the pencil like a knife, confused. Then pressed hard and scratched a rough paw print across the page. "There," she said. "That's my name, the shape of my soul." Jack looked at the paper and nodded. "It's perfect," he said. As the day went on, she followed him everywhere, in the garage. She sat on top of toolboxes in the kitchen. She climbed on the counter just to watch him stir soup. She was copying everything: his walk, his laugh, his cough, even the way he stretched his arms. "You're turning into me," Jack joked. "I want to understand," she said. "So I become." But that night, something different happened. After dinner, she walked up to him and sat down close. She reached out and touched his hand. "I don't want to be your pet," she said slowly. "I want to be your mate." Jack's breath caught. Her eyes were serious, calm, not shy, not teasing. "I don't understand all human ways," she continued, "but when you hug me, or speak gently, or give me food, that is what mates do. Yes." Jack didn't answer right away. He looked at her, this strange, strong, brave fox girl with wild instincts and quiet pain. "It's not that simple," he said softly. "But, I'm not saying no." She blinked. Her ears perked up. "Then I will wait," she whispered. "I will learn more, and when I am ready, I'll ask again." Jack nodded. "I'll be here," he said. No matter what, that night, she slept beside the couch again. But this time, she wasn't guarding it. She was simply resting near him, close enough to hear his breath, and far enough from the past to dream something new. The morning started quiet. The sky was gray, and rain tapped gently on the windows. Jack poured hot tea into a mug. Glancing at the couch, Erin wasn't there. He looked around, no sign of her in the kitchen, not in the hallway, not in the garage. Then he heard it. A soft whimper from the bathroom. He opened the door slowly. Erin was sitting on the floor, shaking, her tail curled tightly around her legs. In her hand was a tiny metal chip, glowing red. It had been hidden in her neck. Under the skin, Jack froze. "Where did you get that?" "I felt it last night," she whispered. "Something buzzing inside me." She had clawed it out herself with her nails. Blood still dripped from the cut behind her ear. Jack grabbed a clean cloth, knelt down, and pressed it gently to the wound. "You should have told me," he said. "I didn't want you to throw me away," she said in a small voice. "If I'm tracked, they'll come, right?" Jack looked at the glowing chip, a signal device, high-level, military-grade. "Yes," he said, "they'll come." And they did. 3 black cars pulled up in front of his house by afternoon. Men in dark suits stepped out, wearing sunglasses, even though the sky was cloudy. They walked straight to his door and knocked hard. Jack opened it slowly. "Can I help you?" he asked. One man flashed a silver badge. "Human Alien Enforcement," he said. "We're here for the escaped subject from Sector 9 Delta." "I don't know what you're talking about," Jack said calmly. "We traced the signal here," the man replied. "Subject is small, female, hybrid class, extremely valuable and considered unstable." Jack kept his face steady. "Unstable?" he repeated. "She's just a scared girl. Subject is property of the Central Galactic Lab," the agent snapped. "Not a citizen. Not protected." Jack's hands clenched. "She's not a thing," he said. "And she's not yours." The agent stepped closer. "Let us inside, Mr. Holt," he warned, "or we'll come back with force." Jack gave a small smile. "Then come back," he said, and shut the door. Inside, Erin was already hiding. Jack had told her to crawl into the false floor panel in the garage, a hidden compartment from his old military days. It was cold, dark, but safe. She lay there, silent, holding her breath. She clutched Jack's scarf close to her chest. His scent kept her calm. Jack opened his workbench drawer and pulled out a small device. He flipped a switch, and a burst of static jammed the trackers in the area. The agents wouldn't be able to read her chip anymore, not even if they returned. Hours passed. Jack gave the agents a fake data file and a doctored security recording. It showed Erin walking into the woods last night and vanishing. When the agents finally left, Jack rushed to the garage and lifted the panel. Erin blinked up at him, her body still tense. "They're gone," he said. "You're okay." She crawled out slowly, her clothes dusty, her hair messy. "I thought you'd hand me over," she said quietly. "Everyone else did." Jack sat beside her on the floor. "I'm not everyone," he said. "I saw you bleed, cry, laugh, and learn. You're not a number to me." Erin stared at him. Her eyes were glassy, but not from fear, from something new. "Why?" she asked. "Why protect me?" Jack didn't answer with words, Instead, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small metal tag one he used to wear during his time in the army. He placed it in her hand. "It belonged to someone I couldn't save," he said softly. "But I'll save you." She looked at the tag, then back at him. "You already did," she whispered. That night, Erin didn't sleep on the floor. She curled up at the edge of Jack's bed, tail resting over his leg. And when he turned off the light, she said something so quiet, he almost didn't hear it. "You chose me." Even when the hunters came, Jack turned his head and smiled in the dark. "I always will," he whispered. Outside, the stars began to show through the thinning clouds. And inside that small home, loyalty had become something stronger than law. It had become family. Jack sat on the garage step, a plate of fruit beside him. The afternoon sun cast golden light through the dusty window. Inside, Erin was trying to understand a cartoon show on the old screen. The characters bounced around, making jokes and faces. Jack peeked in to check on her. She tilted her head, eyes squinting, then suddenly she laughed. Not a polite smile, not a copied grin, but a sharp, loud laugh that burst out of her chest. Her tail wagged fast, thumping the floor. Jack froze, stunned. She turned, still smiling. Why did they fall down and yell funny words? She asked. Jack grinned. "It's called slapstick comedy." "Slapstick," she repeated. "It makes my chest feel light." "That's called joy," Jack said softly. Her ears perked, and she pointed to her chest. "Joy lives in here." Jack nodded. "That's right." She nodded, like it was a deep truth. Then ran to the corner and grabbed her notepad, the one filled with paw prints and strange shapes. She scribbled something quickly and showed him. A drawing of a stick figure with big ears and a giant heart drawn with bright red marker. "This is me, now," she said. With joy inside, Jack felt something heavy lift off his chest. She was healing slowly, but truly healing. That evening, he made spaghetti. She tried to use a spoon and got frustrated, too slippery. She growled, sending sauce flying. Jack laughed and showed her how to twirl it gently. She copied him, slowly, then looked down at her plate. "I did it," she whispered. Jack gave her a small round of applause. Suddenly, her ears twitched. She turned toward the garage with a sharp sniff. Jack frowned. "What is it?" She stood, tail low. "Something's humming," she said. "Faint like electricity under the skin." They rushed to the garage. Jack's old workbench lights were flickering. His signal device was active. Not by his doing, he leaned in and checked the panel. A red light blinked. Someone had pinged the location again. It wasn't the ground agents. It was worse. "It's a satellite scan," Jack muttered. From orbit, Erin's eyes widened. "They're coming," she said, her voice flat. This time. From above, Jack turned off the device, wiped the hard drive, and pulled the backup bag from under the floor panel. It had his emergency credits, a fake ID, and a distress beacon, his last resort. "We may have to leave," he said. "Start over somewhere off-grid." Erin stared at the ceiling. "What if they find you too?" "I don't care," Jack said. "I'll protect you again." She stepped closer. This time, she didn't ask permission. She hugged him first. It was awkward, strong, and full of silent shaking. Then she pulled back, tears in her eyes. "I'm not afraid of being taken," she said. "I'm afraid of losing this." "You won't," Jack promised. "We fight together now." That night, she did something new. She pulled a blanket beside the bed, but didn't lie on it. Instead, she climbed onto the bed itself. Slowly, like a kitten testing ice, Jack looked at her, surprised. "You sure?" he asked. She nodded. "You said this bed is your softest place," she said. "Then I want to be where it's softest too." She curled up beside him, her tail resting across both their legs. She whispered something as her eyes closed. "If they take me again, will you come find me?" Jack didn't even hesitate. "Yes," he said. "Across stars, deserts, or oceans, I'll find you." A single tear rolled down her cheek, but she was smiling. "I believe you now," she said, even if I don't understand why." In the dark, Jack placed a gentle hand on her head. "You'll learn," he whispered. One joy at a time. Outside, the wind carried leaves across the empty road. But inside the small home, the silence wasn't fear anymore. It was peace. The kind that only grows when two broken things begin to fit together. When laughter finally returns, and when someone promises and means it. The sky above the forest changed color orange, turning to deep violet. Birds stopped singing, and the air suddenly felt heavy. Jack stepped outside. He already knew. He felt it in his bones. The stars above shimmered strangely. Then he saw it. A ship, massive and silent, appeared in the sky. It hovered like a dark mountain. No sound, no lights flashing, just a low hum that rattled the earth itself. Inside the house, Erin crouched low by the window. Her tail was stiff, her ears flat, her breathing shallow. "They're not human," she whispered. "Not like the agents before." Jack nodded. "I know," he said. "They're the ones who made you." She looked at him, confused. "No, I wasn't made," she said. "I was born." Jack put a hand on her shoulder. "They don't see it that way," he said. "To them, you're a lab result." She swallowed hard, "But I learned human things." She said, "I laughed, I hugged, I drew pictures. You lived," Jack said. "And that means you're more than anything they wrote in their files." Suddenly, a beam of light shot down from the ship. It scanned the garage, the roof, then her scent trail. A voice echoed from above. "Subject Erin, confirm presence or forced retrieval will begin." Erin stood slowly. Her body was shaking, but her eyes were dry. "If I leave," she whispered, "will they leave you alone?" Jack stepped in front of her. "No," he said. "They'll take you, erase you, and erase everyone who helped." "Then what do we do?" she asked, voice trembling. Jack opened a secret panel in the wallen old case from his military days. Inside was a cube-shaped device, glowing faint green, diplomatic disruptor. He said, "A gift from someone I saved on another planet." Erin tilted her head. "What does it do?" "It tricks orbiting systems," he said. "Makes them think the target was vaporized." "You want to fake my death?" she asked, surprised. "I want to give you a choice," Jack said. "Live free or live running." She stared at the device, then back at him, then down at her own hands. "I don't want to run," she said. "I want a home." He looked into her eyes. "You already have one." She stepped forward, slowly wrapped her arms around his waist. Her voice was quiet but strong. "Then, I choose to stay." Jack activated the cube and threw it toward the edge of the woods. A small explosion echoed, clean, silent, and bright. The scanner blinked, paused, and stopped moving. The voice above repeated, "Subject lost. Last known position destroyed." Terminating search, the ship hovered for 10 more seconds, then vanished back into the stars like it had never been there. The night fell quiet again. Even the trees seemed to exhale. Jack turned to Erin. "You're free," he said. She looked at the sky, then at the house, then at Jack, and whispered, "Then I choose this place forever." Jack raised an eyebrow. "You mean Earth?" She shook her head, smiling softly. "No," she said. "I mean you." Her tail wrapped around his arm like a ribbon. "I don't know all your words," she added, "but I know this one." Forever home, Jack's heart squeezed. He didn't say anything for a moment. Then he reached down and gently took her hand. "Then welcome home," he said. She smiled, wide aerial, warm, and full of joy. The same girl who once growled at forks, slept under tables, and flinched at every sound, now stood tall in front of the stars and chose to stay. That night, Jack gave her an old key, just a symbol, he said, "for your room. Your life, your choice." She took it like it was a crown, then placed it on a string and wore it around her neck. "I don't need cages," she said. "Not when I have keys." They sat by the fire, side by side, no words left, only silence and soft laughter. And when the wind touched her face, she didn't hide, she leaned into it, knowing she would never be alone again.